Welcome. Season 3, episode 4 of the Breaking Chains podcast. Today, we're going to talk about adapting to a toxic environment.
What does that mean to you? Not just like a toxic environment, like at work. I mean, that we could talk about that too, right? But like we live in a toxic world, in a toxic filled world. And so many of us are caught up on climate change, right? I just like to bring it back down to here. Instead of trying to go save the world, we need to save our household, right? Like how do we like physically, because I feel like a lot of times in these podcasts, we go so esoteric. We focus a lot on the mindset stuff here. And today I was just like, sometimes it's so much more simple, even though it's complex and hard to do these things completely, because we're still a work in progress in all the ways. How do we bring the body back right now for a second? We're mind, body, spirit. When we thought of breaking chains and everything we wanted to bring to our people and what we can share, I feel like we have not focused on the body. And in this season of adapting, how do we adapt to a toxic world that we live in? And
Toxic in which way?
We have touched on a lot of, like our belief systems, but we have not talked a lot about the physical things that we do to be healthy. And I think it's important.
Agreed.
To bring in that body aspect.
But again, it's a combination of all things. I think we went into a direction to focus on one that's also harder to understand, right? Like the physical body, we see it all the time. We feel it all the time. You might have a headache. You might have a cold. Like you might be overweight. It's right there. Sometimes I think the mindset approach or the esoteric, if you will, it's harder for people to grasp. So I think that's why we decided to spend as much time in that area as possible.
Yeah, we talk about it a lot because I think we truly do believe it starts like here.
I mean, you said it the other, maybe like 2 months ago, you said this. You're like, somebody coming into the gym, right? Like if they need personal training or they want to lose 30 pounds or they want to transform their life, if they can't envision themselves living in a new lifestyle, how would they ever have the motivation or inspiration or wherewithal to make that investment in themselves because they can't see it?
Right. You have to picture your life truly different. You have to
Correct.
you have to be able to picture a beautiful you. And I think maybe today I wanted to talk about this because as you hear my voice, right, I got like a little cold this week. My kids had a cold. We were actually at my sister's house over the last weekend. I'm not saying this is why we got sick. Like, I don't like to blame things. I'm not blaming my sister or her air fresheners. But
Don't watch this.
I was thinking about, I always think about environment. And a lot of people think of the germ theory as why we get sick, the germ theory. And it's funny because like nothing is really proven. Everything is constantly being proven every single day and then disproven. Proven, then debunked, proven, then debunked. Think about the whole COVID experience that we experienced, right? Like everything was hard truth and then everything was just misinformation.
It was like hard truth, maybe, no.
And then the misinformation became like facts. And then the fact checkers became like evil villains. Like everything was crazy. And I think that COVID was so beautiful of a time because all the veils were lifted and we all lost our shit to like have rebirths in this new era that has been born. But so I was at my sister's house with my kids, all three, and everybody ended up with a cough after. But while I was there, I noticed in every single one of her vents, I love you, Mercedes, and I did say something, there was a Febreze air freshener, like the ones you put in, like your vents in the car.
Yeah.
And the whole house smelled like fragrance. And in our household, we use no fragrance, anything. Like, we don't use fragrances. I mean, we might have and not good either. Some scented candles. We try to make sure they're all soy essential blends. But sometimes, we do burn a candle that it's so terrible for you. So like, we're not perfect. It's not even to say that we do everything right. But like, we know that fragrances are endocrine disruptors and they can mess with your hormones and your health.
Of course.
We know that. Funny enough, I don't know if anyone here that is watching this follows Huberman Lab, but he is a podcast and he interviews a lot of people about health and wellness, and he's very science-backed. And it's just so funny that just yesterday I was watching his podcast and he was talking about fragrances. And in this podcast about fragrances, he brought up the smells lavender and something else. And then there was a whole debate in his comment section because people are like, well, natural, pure essential oils are not harmful. So don't get confused with something smelling like
compared to artificial chemicals.
Artificial chemicals.
Yeah.
Okay, so that brings me to everything that we're talking about today, which is the toxins in our households. And there's so many that once you get on the journey of trying to get rid of them, it feels like a never freaking ending journey because it's one step after the other. I am in holistic health groups that talk about their beds. Like, where can I get an organic cotton bed and sheets with no, what are parabens and what do they put? They say this kind of material.
Polyester?
Yeah, this type of material, the workout leggings, the worst for your system. There's just so much that has to be, cleansed out, but it's not to overload us. It's step by step. So you just made a huge shift in your life about an external thing that you put on your body that finally you made the jump and did it. Yeah, so do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, so, for most of my life, for all of my life, I guess 41 years old right now, I've had eczema, inflammation, a lot of other things, food allergies, etc. But one of the hallmarks of my life has always been extremely dry skin. And
due to inflammation.
Yeah, due to inflammation. So for a tremendous amount of years, it was cortisone creams, it was prednisone, it was all this stuff. But for the most part, I also used, I can't think of the old one I used to use, but Aquaphor. I was using Lubriderm a long time ago, Aquaphor for a long time. And these are all lotions, but they're heavy creams that keep the skin moisturized, but they're actually, made from petroleum themselves. And obviously every day, in order to keep my skin moisturized, I used to slather that on my skin. And recently, I have moved from probably 2 months, maybe 3 months now.
3 months now.
I have I went cold turkey on Aquaphor.
It was his drug of choice.
And I went cold turkey, and I started using beef tallow.
He smells like short ribs all the time.
So every day I put on beef tallow. It has really no smell. The one that I purchased anyway has no smell.
They have a very sensitive smell.
It's 100% natural, and it's literally has the vitamin E. It has the vitamin A. It has so many benefits for skin itself. And so I've had to go through a rebuilding of the skin membranes, being able to once again retain moisture, right? Because artificially,
or petroleum.
Petroleum was on my skin, so my skin didn't really need to maintain a level of moisture.
Or absorption.
But now, because there is no petroleum, it has to kind of rekindle, be able to do that once again as one of its main functions. So I've had a tremendous amount of dry skin lately, but I feel so much better. My skin is becoming a lot more elastic, a lot less flaky. And bottom line is, it's one of the bigger changes I've made, besides at least probably a decade ago, not ever using Tylenol, Advil, or any of that stuff.
So pharmaceuticals come in here too, right? So you kind of blended all that. You blended the diet, so all the body things, the diet and all the things you put in your body and on your body.
Correct.
Right? So it went from antibiotics external steroids,
Yep.
all the allergens you were consuming,
Z-Packs.
and then
inhalers.
the toxic lathering of things to Band-Aid underlying problem,
Correct.
which is chronic inflammation and dry skin. And so when you're lathering petroleum on your skin, you're just creating a barrier. You're literally just like slapping something on top and saying, look pretty. But what you're not doing is you're not allowing that skin to actually absorb the moisture that's coming from outside here, right? There's moisture in the air, and good skin pulls that moisture in, right? But if you're lathering an artificial thing like petroleum, it's not artificial, but it's not natural to put on your skin. It's actually not good for your skin. You're not pulling in moisture.
Yeah.
It's just like blocked. So you're actually not even able. And not only did you put it on your skin, but it's like literally head to toe.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? So I just wanted to share that because he just started doing this, you know, like we're mind, body, spirit.
Well, I just started doing the lotion.
No, right.
Yeah. But all the other stuff wasn't.
But for years, we have been working. That's what my point is. We've been working. You've been working your entire life towards better health. And every day you can make a better decision.
Yeah, and it's funny because it's almost like it's a different level of awareness where you're like, let me stop putting this stuff in my body. And then you're like, wait a minute. I'm also putting shit on my body. So it's not until you start to look at it like anything that actually touches your body or comes in contact is affecting you. I think that's what I didn't have at that moment in time was like my skin.
It's the largest organ in your body.
Exactly.
It's the largest organ. It's an organ. It's a living organ that pulls in whatever it touches. Like whatever's on this table right now, my skin is communicating with it and pulling in. So if this was, you know, cleaned with bleach, I am now absorbing bleach in, right? So I think there's this hyper awareness that we could have, like which creates like hypochondriacs and like really scared, or there's that awareness. And it's funny that it took you so long to do that because you have cared a lot about what you put in your body and on your body. Like you don't use any scented detergent. Super important not to use scented things with artificial scents because they are disrupting your nervous system, your endocrine system.
Well, the reason why I didn't use scent is because originally scents bothered me. So like if I put scents on my skin, it would make me break out in hives or something. But when I put Aquaphor on my skin, it actually made my skin feel better.
Right.
For me.
Because it blocked anything from touching it as well.
Regardless of what it did,
Right.
it just made me feel better. So my thought process towards it was like, oh, it's helping me.
Right. So where I'm going to here is it took you so long. Why? Because you were comfortable with it. Even though in the back of your mind, you knew Aquaphor and Vanny Cream, you were also using Vanny Cream. You look at those ingredients, you know they're not something you actually want to put on your skin. You actually shouldn't put anything on your skin that you wouldn't like really put in your mouth because it's like absorbing. So really, and I mean lathering every day, it's that fear of leaving that comfort zone. Like you knew Aquaphor had your back. You knew.
I disagree.
No?
No, that's not. It wasn't a comfort thing. Trust me, it's not comfortable itching. It's not comfortable having dry skin. Never has it been comfortable. It's literally, if I had to think about it, it's just a different level of awareness of seeing something differently. I can't explain it. It's not, there's things that I might be doing out of comfort. Those really weren't it. It was like the best alternative that I could understand at that moment in time. Like I didn't think about putting beef tallow on my skin. And so.
You said you used to though.
I did, but it didn't work because of the amount of inflammation that I had. My skin wasn't maintaining any moisture. And I was kind of doing beef tallow and Aquaphor. So
You were comfortable all these years with Aquaphor because it had your back is what I mean. Like it was the thing that worked even though you knew it wasn't great for you. It soothed something that was more uncomfortable, let's say?
I don't know. I see what you're saying, but I just feel like it's a different level of wisdom that I started to look at. Like even now, right? We're removing. I haven't used fragrances and stuff, but even think about some of our dishwashing stuff, right?
Right. So
but it's just like now you're looking at the chemicals. It's almost like we have become so much more aware of like, wow, we're asking the questions now. How does this affect my body? So like there's some gross things, like some really gross things, like you wouldn't stand behind a car with exhaust coming out of it. But in reality, you don't think about the things you do habitually every day.
And breathe
I think
in,
now
right.
we're questioning every single thing because you and I both know that we've been lied to and that people are putting shit in our food and they're putting shit in our air. And now we're paying more attention to the chemicals that are surround us.
Right. So like with our detergent, I just switched our detergent and our dishwashing liquid, and I'm switching stuff like that as well because I'm like, wait a minute. So we've been using fragrance-free detergent, which is like huge, right? But then I like start looking at the ingredients in the fragrance-free. So even though it's not masked with all this fragrance, it's fragrance-free. It's like, oh, look at this concoction of chemicals that has no scent now.
Yeah.
Right? So I started looking at our detergent that's fragrance-free, and I'm like, but this is poison too. Just because it doesn't smell like anything, it's also poisoning our skin. Just as like the fabric that we're wearing isn't necessarily a fragrance, but it can be poisoning you as well. It's just not masked with a lovely smell. It's masked with nothing. Yeah. So I switched our laundry detergent, I switched our dishwashing detergent, and all that stuff. But there's so much more. Like there's always something. I was just talking to Tyler, our producer, about even like things we don't think of. Like we go to the doctor, oh, this pain, pop an Advil. How much damage does Advil do to the liver? It's like worse than alcohol.
Yeah.
People take Advil like it's candy. I used to take Advil like it was candy on my period or when I like broke out really bad. I was like, oh, Advil reduces inflammation. Is that true?
You just can't feel it.
Right.
Blocks the pain sensors.
It can actually reduce inflammation, but it's pulling more toxins into your body.
Of course.
Which is going to create more inflammation in the long run.
Well, one of the
this vicious cycle.
One of the keys that is just to. It's almost like, because you said, like you used to take Tylenol.
No,
right?
Advil.
Advil, Tylenol, whatever. Any of the pain meds.
Tylenol's worse.
At the end of the day, it's just conditioning. It's habitual patterns that you would do. You saw your parents take Tylenol and then you did it. Or your friends take Tylenol and you do it. It's not until you start to realize that the body is giving you a message. Like I think when you start to actually no longer take for granted the body itself and that it's the smartest thing possible. Like we think we know better than the body, but we don't know better than the body. So instead we try to tell the body, we try to shut the body up by taking these medications. So it blocks the symptoms, but yet the symptoms are the things giving us the pathway to the answer.
Right. It's like sweating, right? Like people sweat. What is sweating? Detoxification and cooling down your body, right? So your body's pushing things out of your whole lymphatic system is like constantly draining things. It's so intelligent, and then it's pushing toxins out of your pores and all that good stuff. And then what did some genius decide about sweaty armpits?
Antiperspirant, right?
Yeah, let's stop the sweat. Let's put some aluminum up there. And then all these people start getting cancer. Yeah. That's a big word right now that so sadly is just like popping up left, right, and center. I think it's like 1 in 3 people are gonna have cancer, they say, or something. I don't know the stats on that.
It's a big statistic.
Do you mind checking that for me, Tyler? What's the statistic of people having cancer? Right now, it feels like...
I feel like I've seen 1 out of 3.
I feel like... Is that more than half?
A third. 1 out of every 3 is a third.
So that's less than half. Sorry, I'm not a math major, but...
33%.
39.5%, approximately 39.5% of men and women will be diagnosed with cancer.
39. I was thinking of
So that's
I think
40%.
I was thinking it feels more like every other person I know right now is
So
being
2 out of every
diagnosed with
5
cancer.
people.
But that number is going up. That number is going up. And why is that number going up? Why do more people than ever have mental disorders and neurological
Autism.
and autoimmune, right? Why? And we don't have this direct answer. Everybody will say it's something else. Some people say there's more people, so there's going to just be more amounts. But percentages don't lie, right? So when we take a large amount of something, still like it should stay pretty stable if everything is in balance.
I mean, I think it's pretty
But if a
simple.
large number of people out of the whole are getting sick, like why do we have like the largest healthcare system in the world in America, and we have the most sick people, the sickest society, the most deaths in newborns and fetuses? Like, why? Why is this happening? We have to start questioning the environment that we're living in.
I mean, if you look at the chart, since the Industrial Revolution, the health, overall health, and the uprising in disease itself has been astronomical. But it's really simple. If you think about the commonalities, it's not like one color one race is getting, cancer. Everybody is getting cancer. So let's think about the similarities, right? Our food, our water, our air,
our products, our health, our cleaning
our
products.
stresses, our everyday
environment.
stresses in life,
Right.
right? Like the
So what are some main things that changes in the Industrial Revolution? One of the major things is people's life purpose. If you think about it.
Yeah.
People went from making their own, doing their own, having like, okay, I'm going to be a shoemaker and I'm going to make the best damn shoes for the rest of my life. And I'm going to teach my kids how to make shoes. I'm going to be a seamstress. I'm going to be a baker. They took these life purposes away from people and they commercialized it and put people in factories doing one mundane task. Like, okay, you're now just going to be a stapler. You're now going to be a folder.
Yeah.
And that's it. You no longer get to sell your shoes. You no longer get to measure people and seam their clothes. We're just going to make the same thing and you're going to get in line, right? So that, what is it called? The line of events?
come on.
Pop quiz. When one person does each
For the thank
assembly
you.
line, a line
Assembly
of
line.
events.
I was thinking of like the car makers.
Yes, assembly lines. And now people have no purpose. So people are no longer questioning a lot. They just get up, do their job, sit down, do it again tomorrow. It's like the life and soul. Same thing for school, right? Kids going to school. The life and soul has been sucked out of people. So that's like the whole mindset thing. But now that we're waking up and we are here and we could see and we're able to visually see our children sick, our parents sick with dementia, all of the heavy metals in everybody, what do? First step is we start with our home.
Agreed.
We start with our home. We can't save the world with climate change. We're not Elon Musk and creating these electric cars, which are worse for the environment than our V8.
But they're trackable.
Right. And
Controllable.
We start with our home. We start getting rid of toxins. What are some main ways that you can tell people how to start cleaning up their home?
Well, obviously what we've done is you remove like the laundry detergent. For me, there's no fragrances. I have been like sensitive to chemicals for a long time. So even when I walk past somebody on the street and like they got all this perfume on or cologne, oh God, I start sneezing.
But what are the solutions? Like removing things for people is not helping them. Like getting rid of laundry detergent. Why? I need to clean my clothes. So what do you give them? A better laundry detergent. Like we use Truly Free now.
Yeah, we have to.
Truly Free.
We're using the same.
No chemicals.
Yeah, we're using similar. We're putting things in place.
But like even I buy like method cleaner. I start looking at that stuff. It's not clean.
Yeah.
It's fake clean. So this is called greenwashing. They give you products to make you think you're doing better, but it's not. So I literally...
Actually, vinegar is supposed to be pretty amazing.
Vinegar and bleach is one of the biggest neurotoxins. So not only is there chlorine in our tap water, but there's fluoride.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of in our tap water, and then we're bathing in that too. So
speaking of that, water. Right. So
I was just about to say
even if
that.
you think about the changes that we've made in water, right? So we haven't used tap water in I don't know how long, but then we went to Poland.
Plastic.
We went to like Poland Spring, but at first it was like, oh wait, spring water's on sale, or wait, spring water's not on sale, but purified water is on sale. Why is spring water $5 and purified water is $2? And then you realize the purified water is just water.
It's the tap water
from the local municipality, wherever they got it from.
They take everything out, so then it's just
so it's like reverse
dead water.
It's like reverse osmosis. Is this that? But then you have your natural
purified water is
I
not.
believe it's also reverse osmosis too. It says it on the label. It'll say reverse osmosis, bottled at whatever water source it is. I've seen like Pennsylvania, etc. But then we've had so there's spring water, there's purified water, then there's like Dasani, I don't know what that is. I guess it's purified. You look at all these waters and you're like, wow, what's the difference? And then from there, you're like...
More so, what's the similarity?
The plastics.
What's the similarity? They're sitting in plastic.
For months.
From a company, coming to your house, and then we started ordering like this big bottle, the 5 gallons, and then we're drinking out of the same straw that pulls it up, which is also plastic. You don't know what's in this machine anymore. We've had it for a couple years. It's like when you start thinking about what we're putting into our bodies, especially something that we vitally need.
Yeah.
What are we doing, right?
Yeah.
And so one of the big ways that I was like, okay, I definitely have to clean this up. And we've been thinking about it for years because when we started ordering, this 5 gallon water, it still didn't feel right. We set it automatically, we're still ordering this, and they raised the price too. So they get you in with
that
this
got
cheap
me
price.
Quick.
And then they keep every month they're raising the price.
$5
bottled
5 gallons.
It is
$10.
a huge industry.
Yeah.
Not only are the bottles toxic, sitting in plastic, they're destroying the earth. If you are an environmentalist and you're thinking about, so now we're thinking about our health, right? We're not drinking tap water because that's killing us. So we're drinking bottled water, which is killing the earth. So we're not really solving anything because it's killing everyone anyway, right? So I've been begging for a solution, and finally one just appeared to me, and it's this water system that ionizes water, that cleans it and then keeps minerals in it. And it's just is this real? And it alkalinizes it as well. And I'm just so excited to start this journey, because not only does this machine create this amazing drinking water that helps heal your body because it also pushes toxins out, this machine also makes water that works different pHs, so it makes water
the
that
low
I
pH is similar to a bleach.
Yeah, I can literally degrease.
Yeah, you can clean
my stove. I can sterilize. Apparently, this machine, it's called a Kangen water machine, is used in hospitals to sterilize things, and it's not toxic at all. So I'm cleaning up inside of my body. I'm cleaning up my house, and I'm doing this not for just my health, but my children's health. I needed a solution to create a better life experience for them, because it's no longer 1900 where, we're clueless about what we're putting into our bodies and just taking medications because we believe in doctors.
I think there's two things that really turned me onto water and our source of water. One was this. And I don't know if it's true, but I was reading this article about how at the manufacturing plants where they bottle water, the plastic containers are pretty hot. So they're coming through, and I don't know if it's true, but it still affected me that during the manufacturing process, the bottles, they're coming through and they're a little bit hot. and then they're getting water put in it. And I just had this visual of like, wait, water in a hot plastic container. It's like you don't put plastic containers in the microwave. You don't do certain things.
Or you don't leave. They always say don't leave your water in the car in the summer.
Yeah, it's just another chemical. So I'm thinking water plus warm plastic. I don't know if I really want to drink that. And so that was one thing. The second thing was because of my skin issues, I have been really focused on dehydration or hydration. And I'm like, man, I drink a lot of water every day, but my body just doesn't seem to be hitting the level of hydration that I believe that it should be hitting. So if I'm drinking all this water, but I'm not hydrated, something in this water might be off. Meaning,
it's not getting absorbed.
Is the water like even working? Does it have
Is the water working? Hello?
Does it have the vitamins and minerals like that it should when you're drinking a gallon of water a day and yet you're still like dehydrated? So I've been paying more attention to, well, what is the source of the water, knowing that naturally our bodies are what? 75% water. And so one of the biggest things that we could do, if our bodies are 73 to 75% water, one of the most important things that we could do is get that right.
Right. And it's funny you say that because for years, my father has put me on to Dr. Sebi. Have you ever heard of Dr. Sebi, Tyler? No. Dr. Sebi was this holistic healer. He wasn't actually a doctor, apparently, but he told people he had the cure for cancer. Apparently, they killed him. And then they killed Nipsey Hussle because he was going to do a documentary on him. But he had the cure for cancer, and the cure for cancer was diet. So he created an alkaline vegan diet. Does everybody agree that vegan is the way? No, but he apparently, not only cancer, but so many ailments. But we like to think of things in common. What do people have in common when they talk about cures? Unprocessed food. So these alkaline foods, obviously unprocessed, grown in nature.
They're alive.
Alive. Things are alive.
So they have energy.
And then the next vital step that Dr. Sebi talked about, and this is the least talked about. Like a lot of people buy his books, like the Dr. Sebi diet. My sister was just diagnosed with cancer this year. And, my whole family was like, yeah, the Dr. Sebi diet, like get her on this. And one major component that a lot of people are missing that he did, he took these people that he promised cures for. He had these resorts, these like healing resorts near natural springs.
Honduras?
I don't know where, but I don't remember the exact location, but natural spring water. And there's these certain springs on this earth, only some of them have this alive water with all of these minerals and alkaline water. It's alive. The water's alive. And he took them there and they had to drink the water. So this machine that we bought mimics what those springs were doing, alkalinizing the water. And when this water goes into their bodies, it helps create an alkaline state. Illness cannot thrive in alkalinity. It can only thrive in acid. And what is our body filled with all these sugars and toxins? We're so acidic. And we need to alkalinize our body. And that's what Dr. Sebi promoted. And that's why I'm like, it's interesting that any holistic person, a natural healer that talks about, oh, this is how you cure all the illnesses that the pharmaceuticals are profiting off of, they disappear.
Yeah.
Let me go hide. They disappear. And you can't really find the information. And if you Google the information, it's all debunked. Right? Like, oh no, this is just fake. Only thing that works is more chemicals to actually.
Yeah.
Your body, I just heard this like amazing like short slip. Your body is not lacking an injection to be healthy. It's not lacking of a pill to be healthy. Your body was made perfect, and it just needs support in maintaining that homeostasis. So our job here to create health in our body is support it to do its job.
Correct.
Not inject it and add things like, no, you need to support the minerals, the nutrients, the vitamins that are in it so that it can work properly, so it can function.
It's almost like I heard this quote, and it's about, I don't know if it's Lao Tzu, but he says, knowledge is addition, wisdom is subtraction. And it's like, when you think about that, it's like we've added all these things to our body from knowledge of what they told us that we should be doing or utilizing, whether it's pharmaceuticals or certain foods or natural flavors. But in reality, the wisdom is in simplicity, subtracting things from our life.
That's where the pendulum swings, right? Like we've gone so far into society that we needed to add all these things. We added dishwashers, we added washing machines, we added cars, we added all this stuff, and we realized, wait, we just made our life so much harder.
So we have more time to get stressed at work.
Yeah, we've just made our life so much harder. We have to start taking things away now. We need to start balancing ourselves out. And so I thought it was really important to hop on our lifestyle podcast, Breaking Chains. Today we are breaking chains on being filled with toxins. Like, we have been taught this. We were born into toxicity. We were injected at birth. We're breaking that cycle. We are not injecting our children with all these carcinogens and neurotoxins. And why? Our children were made perfect. We're keeping them whole, and we're supporting their journey as holistically as we can. And so we've added a huge thing into our life, and that's some alkaline water. I'm really excited to share my journey with this. It's like, I'm so hyped because not only is it like this amazing thing, but
I'm hyped too so like I can be fully hydrated.
how can it change our lives?
At a crazy level.
I feel like I want to take before and after pictures of you.
Yeah,
You're like
should.
my test dummy.
I can be that. So I do want you to leave the viewers with at least 3 tips that you think they could start right now to start to detoxify themselves.
Your water. What are you drinking? If you're drinking tap water, stop. Even if you could like filter it, do something. I don't care what you buy.
Steps.
Hit me
okay.
up if you want to learn more about the water that I made an investment in. It's a huge investment for my life, and I'm very excited for it. Like, pay attention to what you're putting inside of your body. That's number 1. Start reading ingredients. We'd even get to that. We'd even get to the ingredients that are in food. Oh my God, that's a whole nother topic. That's a whole nother podcast. But your food, start reading ingredients. Stop using artificial fragrances, air fresheners in your car, in your home. The spray, that shit is so bad for everything. It's so bad for the environment, so bad for your health. And number 3, I think a really good step is to stop using bleach.
Bleach.
I just stopped using bleach, like now, like last week. Seriously, but like it's so bad the more research you do. So like you bathe you clean your shower with bleach, then you shower in hot water, and then you breathe in all that bleach you just put in.
So I know I said 3. I just want to add 2 more real quick. Number 4, I guess, would be to start to learn and educate yourself on labels.
Yeah.
Like what's being put in this food. That's a start, right?
Lotion.
Once you start seeing certain things, start looking them up, Google them, and you get to see like what they are. For instance, in a box of Lucky Charms, there's something called like trisodium phosphate that's used to clean pipes out, but it's in Lucky Charms.
It's literally
It's an ingredient right on the side.
terrible for you.
So get comfortable learning and educating yourself on ingredients. Number 2, use the sauna.
Not everyone has a sauna.
Use the sauna and work out. Work out and use the sauna, right? Because you sweat, right? We talked about the...
Get a membership to MBD. We got a
Yes,
sauna.
get a membership to MBD. We have exercise and we have a sauna. No, but in all seriousness, start sweating. Like your skin is the biggest elimination organ that you do have. And it will sweat out the heavy metals. It'll sweat out the toxins. It'll get you healthy. So find a way to sweat whatever that looks like to you.
Yeah. I mean, we are just so filled with toxins, and it's not about being perfect. It's about making progress every day, step by step.
Progress.
Oh, shit. Oh, fuck. Catch that.
Oh, shoot. Is the camera still rolling?
Yes. Thanks, guys. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Share this with someone you know has a very toxic lifestyle. Help them have a good start to recreating the world they want to live in.
Thank you, guys. Love you. See you next week.